Senate President calls for nullification of Osun rerun elections. Nationwide strike records partial compliance in Kaduna. In sports, Nigeria's D Tigers crashed out of female basketball World Cup. I am Nten Ekpan with the news on television Nigerian. The Nigerian Air Force has confirmed that two of its aircraft carrying out their daily rehearsals ahead of their display during Nigeria's 58th independence anniversary on October 1st crashed in Abuja on Friday. The spokesman of the Nigerian Air Force, Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, confirmed that one of the pilots lost his life in the crash in the accident, which happened in Katampe Hills in Abuja. Daramola further explained that, consequently, there will be movement of NAF aircraft within the Federal Capital Territory from now till October 2, as NAF pilots commence rehearsals for the occasion, and therefore advise members of the public not to panic, but to go about their normal businesses. Reactions have continued to trail the conclusion of the Osun governorship election, which ended with a rerun on Thursday, with candidate of the All Progressives Congress declared winner by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, has joined in the call for a cancellation of the process. Our Kaduna correspondent, Bosan Yakusak, filed in this report, which was presented from our Abuja studios. We apologize for that break. We'll bring you that report in the course of the bulletin. Meanwhile, Nigerians have expressed mixed reaction to the outcome of the just concluded Osun rerun elections, which have the ruling All Progressives Congress in a jubilant mood, while the opposition People's Democratic Party have outrightly rejected the results. Correspondent Courage Danladi has that report.
The All Progressive Congress candidate in Osun State, Alhaji Gboyega Oyetola, has been declared the winner of the governorship rerun election in the state by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Some Nigerians in Abuja expressed their opinions towards the rerun election, stating that it was a credible, free and fair election.
It represents the will of the people, because in the essence that the gap within of the first election was narrow, and as they explained, the votes of the cancelled polls were more than those of were more than the margin. So, what do you expect?
The Osun election is a great development to Nigerians and to Osun people electorate. So, it's one of the credible elections among the election we held before 2019 election.
This is the first time a ruling party and the opposition have almost the same number of votes, difference of just 700 votes. So it's a quite improvement in the electoral system in the country. This is the first time people's vote are counting. And looking at that Osun as an example, you know everybody voted and it was counted. So definitely by 2019 presidential election and other elections, definitely it's going to be an improvement.
While some Nigerians said they are not happy with the rerun election, stressing that their votes are no longer valid in the country and there will be no longer need to get voters' cards since the government are not helping matters.
The opposition took it by force because it's not even ringing, it's a coup. So we are not happy because nobody is exercising his right again. Our voters are not going to be counted. So we are not happy. So there's no need of wasting time to go for queuing because of a voters' card anymore against PVC.
Courage Danladi, TVN News.
Nationwide strike records partial compliance in Kaduna. Group advocates access to information for effective budget monitoring. More reports after the break. Don't go away.
Of leadership is a factor in this regard. to the success of the fight against the Boko Haram terrorists. And then you look at also the factor of morale.
Welcome to Living Treasures Academy. Enjoy a conducive and serene learning environment. Qualified and experienced teachers. Equipped computer laboratory and library. Secured atmosphere. Extracurricular activities. An all-embracing curriculum for total development of the child. Comprehensive education for leadership. Join us today from crèche to secondary levels. Living Treasures Academy, committed to excellence. Welcome back in on the rest of the news. The ongoing nationwide strike called by the organized labor over minimum wage increase witnessed different responses in the state of the Federation. Again, our Kaduna correspondent Bosania Kusak reported that there were partial compliance to the industrial action by workers in the state. The report.
Comrade Mohammed Shehu, Chairman Trade Union Congress, Kaduna State Council, has said that the union is satisfied with the level of compliance by workers with the ongoing strike in the state, which commenced on Thursday. He further stated that usually there are reasons why compliance to the strike on the first day might not be 100% achieved, attributing the facts to the lack of timely information reaching the workers on time. Shehu and his counterparts in the Trade Union Congress, while answering questions from journalists, expressed their dissatisfaction with the federal government-led committee on the minimum wage as reason why they had to embark on the strike action.
The level of supply is very positive. The report we are receiving from the state of the Federation, there is high level of compliance, even though some of the workers, the information have not gotten to them at the right time because the strike commenced midnight, but this morning the others were also informed about the strike that is on, so the compliance is very positive. We didn't believe that committee is serious on that in this aspect, because the government promised Nigerian workers that come September, new minimum wage will be implemented in nationwide.
Work on that, just as my colleague from TUC just said to you. Compliance have started to a satisfactory level, and we are doing the needful by visiting the various MDAs and other agencies to ensure that if any missing gap exists, we will fill it such that total compliance will be ensured.
Some workers seen at the Nigerian Union of Labour building Kaduna State also expressed their support for the strike and gave reasons why minimum wage is long overdue in the country.
The one doing the job, and they are just siphoning the money into their own pockets. It's not supposed to be like that. They should not suffer the workers. The workers are there to work for their family, when they are there to work for their girlfriends and every other thing within themselves.
This is caused by government. If they had done what they are supposed to do, they will not go on strike. When workers make their deals and they give their promises, then they should fulfill the promise. So that has always been the problem causing strike in this country. When they say this is what they are going to do, they made an announcement from the Honourable Minister that by September they will commence the implementation of the minimum wage. And the workers have now put in their minds.
Comrade Mohammed Shehu.
Nigerians have been urged to use the Freedom of Information Act and the whistleblowing policy to monitor budget implementations in Nigeria. This was a resolution at a forum organized by a civil society group Reclaim Godly Values Foundation to mark the end of its 5th annual conference in Abuja. Correspondent Emmanuel Idoko completes the report.
Nigerians have been urged to use the whistleblowing policy of the federal government and the Freedom of Information Act as mechanisms for checking those in power to ensure proper budget monitoring for sustainable development. This was the position of an Assistant Director of Special Duties in the National Orientation Agency, Mrs. Chingwe Ikaroha, at the 5th annual conference of the Reclaim Godly Values Foundation in Abuja.
The Act gives Nigerians unfettered access into any information required from government organizations. When they get the information and they find out that something is wrong, they will blow the whistle, provide information to the necessary authorities and the necessary institutions.
The event, which was themed Access to Information for Effective Budget Monitoring for Sustainable Development, was attended by a cross-section of Nigerians drawn from the public and private sectors, youths, security operatives, and the media. The Executive Director of the Foundation, Mr. Edward Ayodele, in his remarks said that Nigerians must use all avenues of accessing information to create awareness on the need for citizens' participation in governance through the use of information at their disposal to hold government accountable.
I think this calls on every Nigerian who is interested in developing this nation to see it as their responsibility to understand the contents, read and understand the contents of the Freedom of Information Act, so that we can begin to ask the appropriate questions, not about political parties, not about ethnic sentiments or religious sentiments, because in this country, when someone from your area is being attacked, you say they are attacking us.
The Reclaim Godly Foundation is a non-governmental organization based in Abuja with the aim of inculcating godly values to drive sustainable growth and development. Idoko Emmanuel, TVN News.
Hi, I'm Prince David Adetunji Ade, known as I am a lawyer and energy specialist. And I am also running for the House of Representatives for Amak Buhari Federal Constituency under Young Progressive Party YPP. One of the fundamental reasons I choose to serve as the people representative is to seek ways to create job and employment for FCT indigents and residents. Nigeria has a very young population, educated, skillful, and hardworking. However, what is lacking is jobs and opportunities for these young people. No wonder they flock in their droves to developed countries in search of greener pasture. And the ones that are left behind are searching endlessly on the street for jobs that are not there. So here is what I'm going to do if voted in. I will put forward a job creation bill that will seek to create industrial zone within FCT. This industrial zone will have inbuilt infrastructures with already built-in infrastructures for would-be investors or job creators of minimum of 100 jobs. This bill will give tax incentives and other tax holidays to incentivize these job creators. We would set up cooperative community banks within the community that would give small startup loans for small businesses as non-securitized or collateralized at very small interest rate. So you see, election matters and your vote count. Please vote YPP, vote Prince David Adetunji Ade for House of Reps come Saturday, 16 February 2019. Thank you.
Young Progressive Party. Service to the people.
Hi, I am Prince David Ade.
ongoing FIBA Women's World Cup, the Tigress of Nigeria has crashed out of the championships, losing out to world champions, the United States. Let's join Emmanuel Idoko for more on that and other sports stories.
Welcome to the Sports Update. Nigerian State Tigresses have crashed out of the FIBA Female World Cup. The Tigresses were knocked out after losing 71-40 in the quarterfinals of the Female Basketball World Cup on Friday. Nigeria had been the surprise of the tournament by reaching the quarterfinals for the first time in the country's history. The African nation had been winless in its only previous appearance in 2006. Nigeria, which features many former U.S. college players, wasn't intimidated by the world's #1 team. Lagos will play host to players across the world as the International Tennis Federation approved circuit. The Lagos Open Tennis begins this weekend. Already, scores of emerging tennis players from different countries of the world have been arriving ahead of the event, which will be played in the next 2 weeks at the Lagos Lawn Tennis Club, Onikon. The tournament is made up of 2 features, the F5 and the F6, where players will compete in 4 events: men's single, men's double, women's single and women's double, with a total prize money of $100,000. Qualifier matches for features 4 first leg starts on September 29, with the main draw commencing on October 1 and the final on October 6. The main draws features 5 second leg will commence October 8, with the grand final set for October 13, where Lagos State Governor Mr. Akinwumi Ambode is expected to declare the tournament closed. The breakdown, as published by the International Tennis Federation (ITF), shows that 60 players registered in the men's event, while 65 players are taking part in the women's category. They are coming from 47 top nations of the world, some of which are the USA, Britain, Slovakia, Kenya, South Africa, Switzerland, Cameroon, and a host of others. Former heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield has been comparing the possible duel between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder to his scraps with Mike Tyson, and says the fight can bring the heavyweight division back to its prime. Joshua retained his WBA, WBO, IBF, and IBO heavyweight titles by beating Alexander Povetkin last week, while Wilder put his WBC belt on the line against Tyson Fury in December. If Wilder beats Fury as expected, a monumental showdown with Joshua, the type never seen since Holyfield twice beat Mike Tyson in the 90s, awaits the world. Holyfield has this to say on the subject in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, on Wednesday, where he is attending Friday's World Boxing Series middleweight final between George Groves and Callum Smith. According to Holyfield, boxing never died. You just got to understand that it's not the most organized thing. If people actually come together and did it right, it would probably be the biggest sport in the world, but it hasn't ever been done properly. Asked who will win a potential mega fight between the two, Holyfield replied, "I don't know. I think it will be a great fight. You've got one guy in Joshua who is a good classic boxer, but another in Deontay who knows a little but can do it well. It will all come down to personality and confidence to do what they know they can do," he said. Arsenal captain Laurent Koscielny has revealed that Alex Iwobi must start converting his chances and improve his finishing, but that he is a very talented player. The Nigeria's international's progress seems stunned under Arsene Wenger last season after a number of mediocre performances. It led to breakdown in relations with a section of Arsenal fans who were less than happy to see the winger awarded a new contract in the summer. But the 22-year-old has looked back to his exuberant best times during this season under new boss Unai Emery, with a goal and an assist already to his name. He will be brought into the first team in the second half of the 2015-2016 season to leave the likes of Theo Walcott and Danny Welbeck on the bench, but his goal-scoring record has never been brilliant, and his skipper had called on him to work hard on improving his finishing. Meanwhile, reacting to some of his critics, Super Eagles forward Alex Iwobi has boasted that his best is yet to come following his superlative display in Arsenal's 3-1 win over Brentford on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup. Shortly after the tie, Iwobi took to Twitter saying, "Spot me if you can. Good result tonight. Bring on the next round. Love to all the fans. Hashtag we are the Arsenal." The tweet, which received over 5,000 likes and 500 retweets from his social media followers, saw him receiving accolades from his teaming fans. Iwobi, a nephew to soccer legend J.J. Okocha, has scored 9 goals in 68 matches since he joined the North London club in 2015. Iwobi and his Nigerian counterpart Isaac's success may likely lock horns as Arsenal battles Watford on Saturday in a Premier League tie. That is sports update, but before I go, I leave you with fixtures of week 7 in the English Premier League. Thanks for watching. I am Idoko Emmanuel.
Thanks, Emmanuel.